Hi, and welcome to the morning show. My name is Doug Schnitzbahn. I will be your host, introducing you to a number of guests. We get together outdoor manufacturers, athletes, and weirdos in the world. We're going to give you an inside look at what happens at the OR show. And you can also comment and talk to us. Send us questions you have for guests or about the show. If you go on the backcountry.com Facebook page and leave a comment in the comment section, or you can also give us a message on Twitter, and our hashtag is simply #MORning We'd like to thank Solomon. We're broadcasting from the Solomon store here at the new City Creek Mall, just down the street from the Salt Palace in Salt Lake City. We'd also like to thank our sponsor, Columbia. And our first guest today is from Columbia. His name is Mick McCormick, and he is the Executive Vice President of Global Sales and Marketing. And Mick is a man who's not too afraid to talk to you about what's going on in the outdoor industry. And he's been leading a new charge at Columbia, where they've come out with this new product they're calling Omni-Heat. And I think you've probably seen this in the store. You wear it around, and it's kind of an iconic thing for them that creates insulation. At this show, they've got a new product that will keep you cool that I'll have Mick tell you a little bit about here. Mick, what is this?
Oh, well, first of all, Doug, glad to be here. It's an exciting time to have this broadcast happening, and I think in the spirit of innovation, this is exciting for us to participate and, you know, a chance to talk about some of the products in our industry that we're bringing in the industry. So this is omni-freeze Zero. It's our latest. It's game-changing product that is a sweat-activated cooling product that's visible, and nothing like it exists in the industry. And it's not a chemical reaction. It's actually a mechanical reaction that lowers the temperature of the garment the moment moisture hits it, and then it goes back to its natural state. So it is truly game-changing product. And if you think about it, most humans in the world live in hot climates.
Sure. I got a chance to try this stuff yesterday, and I have to say it actually works. And we're going to see that later on a little spot we're going to show you from the outdoor demo. The big thing I think you guys have done that's really interesting is you've created a product like this where someone might say, is that gimmicky? You know, does this really keep you warm? It looks like a space blanket. It's supposed to keep you cold. But your whole idea, I think, has been to create something that people can recognize if they see it in the store and they know it's going to work. And you feel that other companies in the industry haven't done that as much? Or?
Well, I think, look, for us, we're trying to keep the consumer warm, dry, cool, or protected. And almost all of our technologies over the last 4 years have been visible technologies. And we focus in on those benefits, not what the technology is. The science is brilliant. But I think the challenge for us as an industry, we work in I believe, in the best industry in the world. But we continue to bring innovations while other industries or sporting goods businesses have much bigger businesses than ours. So I'll give you an example. The golf business is bigger. The soccer business is bigger. The fitness business is bigger. And I think innovation drives success for companies and industries and creates a healthy industry. And I think if we can bring more innovation, then our competition will bring more innovation and excite the industry more. So I just think innovation is something that is truly, if you can get it in the spirit of the culture of the industry, it makes it stronger.
And what are you guys doing to be able to show that to the people out here, like the people who buy stuff on backcountry.com? How do you feel like you're being able to show that to them and give them innovation that's going to benefit them?
Well, I think, you know, take, for example, Omni-Heat Reflective. It's a simple idea.
That's this, right?
It's this here. If the space blanket was created by NASA, okay? Almost every consumer in the world understands what a space blanket does. Matter of fact, if ambulance shows up, they don't put you in a big down blanket. They wrap a space blanket around you. The reason why they do that is your body's creating this heat and the foil reflects it back. The same thing happens here. The difference is there's space in between the foil, so this breathes really well. So you can have something lighter and keep you warmer. But more importantly, it's intuitive.
Right.
You as a consumer don't have to know the science behind it. You can just say it reflects heat energy like a space blanket.
Sure. And most consumers get that, right?
They do.
And the thing that I think we've seen is people are like, oh, what's this? Is this gimmicky? Does it work, right? Is it going to work? And a lot of people in the industry, I think, other outdoor brands are afraid to do something that takes an opposite kind of risk, right? Where they don't want to do something that's going to appeal to a mass range of people. They're kind of keeping technology a secret, do you think, to customers?
Well, I think a couple things. One is our industry is not an industry in which innovation is owned by a brand, generally speaking. We use a lot of ingredient technologies in our industry. That's good and bad. The industry can leverage those technologies same technology across many brands. But that also stifles innovation. So for us as a company, we don't use anybody else's innovations or technologies. We only use our own innovations because we think we have better insights and we can innovate more. So we hope that other companies that we compete against will take that model, because if you look at other brands that are bigger in other sporting goods businesses, they all use their own innovations.
Interesting, huh? You know, one interesting thing about you guys too is that you're an independent brand still, although a large one, right? And you were founded by this one woman who's an icon and who's still there. How much does she fuel the same idea of innovation? Gert Boyle.
Gert Boyle. Yeah, well, I would say, look, next year we celebrate 75 years in business, and that's quite a legacy. The family currently controls a majority position of our shares in the marketplace, and that's a tremendous benefit for us as a company, even though we're publicly traded, because whether it's Gert Boyle or Tim Boyle, they founded the company on innovation. If you see the growth of the company over the years, there's been key items, whether it was the fishing vest that Gert designed a long time ago, that still is the basic same fishing vest today, or the interchange jacket that Tim Boyle created.
Sure. 2 layers when you got a shell and a fleece. Yeah.
And so that idea around innovation and not being afraid to fail, to try stuff, is part of our culture.
And Gert, she almost failed, right? She was like her husband had died, right? And she had this company, and people told her she wasn't going to make it, right? Wasn't that true?
Yes. As a matter of fact, the bank was calling the note due, and she was going to lose her house, and her mother was going to lose her house, and they looked for a buyer. The buyer did not make a good offer, and the offer was so poor that Gert said, for that amount of money, I'll run it into the ground myself.
Right.
And as we sit here today, that decision that she made has allowed us to become a $1.7 billion global company.
Which is an insane American success story, right?
It is. It is truly the American spirit around innovation.
Very good.
And determination.
Huh. Well, do we have any questions from Twitter or online? If you have any questions for any of our guests, leave a comment on the Facebook page or send us a Twitter message, #Morning Show. Mick, thanks a lot.
Doug, thank you very much.
Always good to see you.
Hopefully you guys have a great day today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Our next guest coming up is going to be Bill Gamber, who's the co-founder of Honey Stinger and Big Agnes. But before that, we want to show you a little bit of what we saw at yesterday's open air demo, which is held at the Jordanelle Reservoir here in Utah, not far from Salt Lake City. Let's take a look at that. Okay, here we are with the morning show at the outdoor demo at Jordanelle Reservoir, just outside of the home of Backcountry.com, actually, near Park City. And I'm here with Cameron Martindale, our intrepid remote gear reporter and everything else. And we had a fantastic day today checking out what really makes the show pulse, which is getting out on the water and people really checking out the gear. What did we see, Cameron?
Yeah, well, we went around, we saw a bunch of people stand-up paddleboarding, so we asked, what's up with SUP, S-U-P, stand-up paddleboarding. And we also met a few colorful characters who we definitely put in the dirtbag category, living the life. So we asked them, what's it like to be a dirtbag and how do you do it? So we'll see some of their segments here in a little bit.
And we also got to see some of the best new gear that you'll be seeing in the next few months hitting the outdoor industry and in your garage. Here's some of that gear now.
Hi, I'm Ken Hovey out of the Vail, Colorado area. I've been a whitewater kayaker, creeker for about 20 years, stand-up paddler for 6 years, and now I'm taking my knowledge of the whitewater industry and my love for surfing, which I've done since I was about 10 years old, to the stand-up paddle market, and I'm introducing to the world through Jackson Kayak and also our designer, Tony Lee, this craft. It's called the Supercharger. It is a whitewater SUP. It's got a shedding deck. It's wide, it's thick, it's stable, and also take a look at this. It's durable. It's roto-molded. You can throw rocks at it. I challenge you to do that to any other manufacturer's board. It's coming to a Jackson kayak dealer near you. It's going to change the way that everybody thinks about running rivers on SUPs. It is a true downriver, stand-on-top paddleboard.
Hi, I'm Candace Weaver. I'm the marketing person at Emotion Kayaks. We're here to talk about our NV11 today. It's an 11-foot sit-inside kayak. It's one of our newest boats. It's also really fast. It has a V-hull, which you can't see. So it's really fast, really stable. We have the hatch in the back with the bulkhead, so there's storage for anything you need to take. We have our new big seat with the extra padding. We have a water bottle holder, and then also some heavy-duty foot braces for your feet. You can find out more information about the NV11 on our website, emotionkayaks.com, and it retails around $4.99.
Hey, I'm Todd Walton. I'm here with Native Eyewear, and I'm going to talk about the Odyssey series. This particular glass is called the Trango. It's a full-frame glass in 3 lens technology, which reduces infrared radiation, blue light filtering, and is also polarized. Also comes with a low light lens called the Sportflex lens. One thing unique to this series is the Cushinol co-injected molded arms, so it's anti-slip, so when you're sweating, when you're working hard, it doesn't fall off your face. So again, the Odyssey series is about 6 glasses, and retail is $129 to $149. Go to nativeeyewear.com.
Hi, I'm Jason Stanson, the Chief Operating Officer of Sazi Footwear. We'd like to introduce you to our new toe motion footwear. This product here we call the Decimal, which features 4 topos for lateral stability control, as well as independent toe platforms that are individually articulating to give you a more ergonomic, connected feel to the earth. For more information, please feel free to check us out at www.sazi.com. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chase Common, and I'm a tour manager for Columbia Sportswear. And what we have here is Columbia's newest addition to their cooling line. It's called omni-freeze Zero, and what it is it's sweat-activated cooling technology. So when you guys are wearing one of these materials and you're sweating, you're working out, the sweat's actually absorbing into that material, and those blue rings that you can see are soaking up that sweat, they're expanding and getting cold. So the material itself is cooling your body off with your sweat.
It works. It feels pretty cool. You gotta check this out.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
So you guys should go to omnifreezero.com and you get all the information you need, and you can see when all the products are coming out in March.
Hey, I'm Corey McBride with Kahuna Creations, and we came out with this new land paddle. It's called the Kahuna Big Stick, and we make them adjustable now, so any size guy can ride it. Just pick it to your size, reach out, and start paddling. You get a good upper body workout, you're in control, and it's so much fun. It's just a chill way to ride a board. It's like you're surfing on a wave, but you're on the street.
Okay, here we are with the morning show at the... I hope you guys enjoyed that. We had a fantastic time, obviously, up at the demo, and I'm going to show you a little bit more from that in a bit. For now, though, I'm here with Bill Gamber, who is the co-founder of Honey Stinger, which is holding in his hand here, and also the co-founder of Big Agnes, who make some fantastic sleeping bags and tents. And I think one of the best things about Bill is he gets out and really uses this stuff, and has a reputation for being a badass. How do you feel about that, Bill?
It's a tough one to start with, but good morning. Thanks for having me here. Yeah, I'm not a badass.
Well, you make products, though, that you get out and use them.
Right?
Yeah, but you get out and use these products and try them, right? And,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, so tell us about how you founded Big Agnes. What was the idea behind that?
Yeah, so we started Big Agnes about 11 years ago, and we just felt like we could make a more comfortable sleep system in the backcountry, you know, because just all our friends are getting out and, you know, having big days, and then you have like a lousy night of sleep, and, you know, and it just makes it for a longer, harder trip. So you want to get a good night of sleep because you never know what you're going to get the next day, you know?
Sure, yeah.
So we started with a bag pad combo and made a sleep system, so it's more like sleeping on a bed with a quilt cover over you instead of just taking a quilt and wrapping it around you, you know?
Sure.
That's what a regular sleeping bag sort of does.
And so basically your innovation came from your own personal experience, though. It wasn't the kind of thing where you had this idea, hey, I'm going to have a business, I'm going to make tents, and I've made this great little invention. It was more like you were out there sleeping on the ground and like, hey, I hate how my pad slips out from under my sleeping bag.
Yeah, basically we felt like there's always room for sort of better product, but it wasn't like we were just always kind of tinkering and developing product. We were just out there getting outside and doing things, and camping is a part of that.
Right.
And so in order to get to a better peak, or better mountain lake to fish, or going to Fruita on mountain bikes, like you're always camping. It's sort of a part of getting outside, and we just felt like we could make better gear.
Sure, and you have. I mean, I've used some of the super light tents, and they're insane how light they are.
Yeah.
What's with the Saw Creek and the Fly Creek, and I mean, what's the lightest tent you guys have right now?
Well, the Fly Creek Platinum.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. And so we developed the Fly Creek Platinum 2 that's available this year, and then next year we're introducing the 1, and they're sub 2 pound tents that are freestanding, and we sent a friend of ours, this guy Trauma, who went and did a 3-month Himalayan trip. He traversed like the Himalayas, some crazy trip, and he took a Platinum.
Right.
And it's about as minimalistic as you could go, and it performed like unbelievably well for him. So.
Now tell me about Honey Stinger. You founded Honey Stinger after Big Agnes, but this is something that's been in your family for generations, right?
Yeah,
honey.
right. Yeah, so my grandfather developed the plastic honey bear.
Right.
And
like the honey bear everyone sees in their kitchen.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
That was my family's honey business. And so I was sort of born and raised, groomed to be the next one. My grandfather started the company after he had a heart attack, and the doctor said he worked too much. He was a grocery salesman, and so he bought 2 hives of bees, and then in 1954 he had an energy bar,
right.
And he was sort of like ahead of his time, and then they just really went full blown into the honey business, and then my dad took it over and ran it, and I was supposed to do the same, and I moved west.
Right. But then you developed this stuff.
And so my dad, of course, roped me in. Like, he was like, all right, you're not going to come into the family business, we're going to start another one, So
right.
We had started Big Agnes, and it was working well, and he liked what we were doing, and had a good, kind of team and a couple partners in Big Agnes, and we're developing this brand. And so my dad said, let's there was this new research on honey and quick energy, and so I was racing triathlons at the time, and my one partner in Big Agnes, we both raced the Hawaiian Ironman, and we would make up these sort of like our own gels, and we'd put honey in it. It's just a good natural energy source, and your body digests it quickly and efficiently, and
you don't come down off it, right? Like a
yeah,
sugar
it's a really good even energy, and it's it's the oldest sort of natural energy source out there.
Sure.
Egyptian tombs had honey.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, so we started Honey Stinger probably 8 or 9 years ago, and we developed a few gels, and then we developed some energy bars, and have gone back and looked at my grandfather's old recipe, and then we introduced some protein bars, and then our energy chews,
right,
just taken off. They're by far
little waffles,
out there. And then waffles, I actually brought a couple here.
Oh, awesome.
So it's our new lemon.
These things are fantastic. My kids take these and eat them all the time.
Right.
And not only so, and the stuff works because you guys got a lot of obviously celebrity attention, right? Because now Lance Armstrong is also.
2 years ago, our one business partner and head of marketing, Len Zani, who's a badass.
He is a badass guy. I've ridden bikes with him.
And he and Lance and another guy on our Stinger team, a kid named Max Tam, super badass too. They all put together a 3-person mountain bike team for the 12 hours of Snowmass. And so just by chance, they got Lance to jump in on their team, and Len was in his Stinger kit and eating Honey Stinger, and Lance like, what's this stuff, and it hooked him instantly. And he talked to his business manager like the next day, and was like, hey, check out this company Honey Stinger, and so they did a little research on us, and obviously didn't find any the real truth about us, and they're interested. So we started talking about a partnership, and he came in as a business partner.
Yeah.
And so it's not like,
and he uses the stuff, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, he loves
it's safe. He's not going to get tested badly for using honey, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So when the truth comes out about Lance, going to find out that he has honey in his blood. You know, so
he's running on honey. That's the permanent answer. Well, it certainly has. I've ridden with you, and you are a badass. You run on honey. You can take people, take people down. Have you ride with Lance? You ever feel like you want to try to hammer him? Have you ever tried to? Have you ever tried to take him?
He has a hard time keeping up with me sometimes. Now the cool thing really about Lance, what I've learned, I mean, he's a super nice guy,
Right,
and honestly, like I've never met somebody that works harder. Like it's unbelievable. The guy's like flies across the country for a Live Strong event, raising money for cancer. Then he's, comes back to Aspen. He's always with his kids. Like the guy like trains like crazy. I mean, he at 40, whatever, decides he's going to go back to triathlons and he's breaking course records.
Right,
and then he races Leadville. It's just really crazy. So
great.
Yeah, he's really amazing and a great business partner. I mean, he's emailing and texting and calling us and checking on sales and how are we doing on this account, and he'll go into meetings with buyers and
he's eating little waffles.
Yeah, I mean the waffle was his idea. He brought it to us, and it's our best-selling product. Now we have 5 flavors and more flavors to come.
Great. Well, check it out. Check out these waffles because they're fantastic, and all the Honey Stinger products are. I certainly use them all the time. Don't get sick of them. Bill, great to see you as always.
Great to see you too, man. Thanks a lot.
And next thing we're going to do is going to go back to the outdoor demo where we were yesterday. We had a question of the day for everyone. Stand-up paddleboards are huge. You're seeing them everywhere. So our question of the day was, what's up with SUP? Here you go.
What's up? Christy Joe, Wolf Mountain, Utah. I've never tried it, so what's up with it is I'm going to go try it.
I'm half the time kayaking, half the time stand-up paddling, so I'm in heaven. I'm doing half and half. I'd say that probably the reason it's so popular now is it's new, and it's also really unusual to be able to stand up on a board for that long. Because anybody that's tried surfing, the standing up part, getting up is kind of tough your first time. So if you can go out on a board and be standing as long as you want all day long, it's pretty cool. And yes, it helps you with your kayaking and it helps you with your surfing.
Cool, what's up? I'm Caroline. I'm a yoga instructor out of Atlanta, Georgia. I teach stand-up paddleboard yoga through High Country Outfitters. I actually teach on a river. This is my first time on a Nash board out here. It's pretty kick butt, super stable board. We teach on a variety of boards out in Atlanta, a lot of touring boards, really test out your balance. If you ever want to try one of my classes, it's called SUP Yogi, and my name's Caroline.
All right, I'm Deb. I'm with Focus Stand-Up Paddleboards. We carry a few lines, Body Glove being one of them. And I think what's up with SUP is that it's an amazing sport. It's the most centering thing I've ever done. And I think everybody's going to be kicking it up and getting on the water and trying this out and loving it.
Hi, I'm Megan Reese. I'm with the Co-Adventuring crew, and we were helping out today at this event. And I really want to try paddleboard. I don't know if I'll make it, but I'll try my best.
I'm Christy with the Pilates Buddy, and I've been out stand-up paddleboarding today. Got to try all the different paddle boards, and I've learned that with core and balance strength from Pilates helps your paddleboarding, and it's been great out today.
The thing about stand-up that's really cool is that you can be the most unathletic person in the world or the most extreme waterman in the world, and there's some discipline within that to either have fun, cruise, or to completely challenge yourself. So within stand-up paddle, there's something for everyone, and I love it. I get to race, I get to stand-up surf. I did a couple river races this week and down the rapids, and the possibilities are endless, and it's getting people fit and healthy and on the water and just enjoying and loving life.
Hey, welcome back to the morning show. Our next guest here is a guy I really respect a lot for what he's doing. It's Jimmy Chin, and he's a photojournalist, he's a mountaineer, he's a guy who's managed to put together his art and his passion for the outdoors, and has just completed one of the possibly hardest climbs in the world, the Shark's Fin of Meru. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and his new movie that's coming out called House of Cards. Jimmy, you want to tell us a bit about, first of all, tell us about the climb you guys just did. You, Conrad Anker, and Renan Ashurk, the Shark's Fin of Meru.
We had attempted it in 2008, and a lot of my heroes had also tried this route, and it's not that well known outside of the kind of core climbing community.
Sure.
But we made an attempt in 2008 and got caught in this huge storm and got shut down on that. And Connor had already tried it twice before, and so last October we finally went back and were able to climb it.
And the first time you guys tried it, you got what, within 100 yards of the summit, right?
Yeah, like 100 meters from the summit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it was close.
Hard to believe, right,
Yeah.
that you would be that close, but it was...
Yeah, it was just, we'd been riding the edge for a really long time, and you just know sometimes.
It's time to turn back.
Yeah.
And came back, succeeded, did it, and now you guys have made a movie about this climb, or...
Yeah, we have.
House of Cards.
Yeah, we're changing the name.
Okay.
That's kind of been the working title, but we have been, you know, we have, it's footage compiled from 2008, and a lot of footage surrounding the climb. Our goal was to make a film, make a climbing film that wasn't about climbing, and just about a narrative, including a lot of different characters, and so it's been great. Been able to spend a lot of time focusing on one project.
Sure. And I mean, this is kind of a lot of your focus. What really impresses me about you is, I mean, I first knew you as a photographer, a great kind of outdoor sports photographer, and now you've evolved to become not only a top photographer, but also someone who's climbing the best mountains in the world. And then this movie is kind of where that meets, kind of your art and your athleticism.
It is in a lot of ways. I mean, filming has been part of what I've been doing for a while, but this is definitely the first feature-length doc, which has been great. Just a lot of support. It takes a lot to make a film like that happen. And
sure.
I have a lot of support from sponsors, like my sponsors from North Face and Revo, and make it happen. But it's, you know, 75-minute piece, and we're hoping that it's going to break out of the outdoor film festival industry.
Sure. So you want to do something that's more than a climbing movie, more than like a skiing movie, more than ski porn, more than climbing
for sure.
porn, right?
I mean, that's the goal.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're happy about it? You think you?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Okay.
It's definitely different than anything I've worked on before. So.
And I think one thing we were talking a lot about throughout the show, the outdoor industry, that people out there, Facebook, backcountry.com fans want to know about is, how do you get to be someone like you? Like, how do you manage to do these great trips? How do you manage to live the life? You know?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to be like me. You're on the go a lot,
right?
So I don't know. I mean, I've just been following the things that I really love to do, and I'm obsessive about the work that I get involved with, and I think just. A big part of who I am is just wanting to push things, whether it's physically or creatively.
Sure.
So it's been fun to do that.
So what's been a bigger challenge? Was it the climb, or was it making the movie and getting this out there?
I mean, I think filming and photography are so integrated with the expeditions that I do, and climbing and skiing, that they're kind of all packaged together.
Sure. It's one experience for you.
Yeah, but filming on the trip was definitely challenging, and the film just takes a lot of, like, making a film is like going on a climb. You have to believe in it. You have to believe that you can do it, and you're constantly, you know, questioning your decisions, but you kind of have to just plow forward and make it happen.
Sure.
Get paralyzed. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got a question online here. We have someone who wants to know, when you're marrying climbing and filming, from a marketing perspective, how is that valuable to your sponsors? How is that valuable to Revo?
Yeah, I mean,
that you're climbing a mountain.
I think one of the things is that we're not trying to. We're just trying to tell a story, and we're just shooting what's happening. And there's always, you don't have to look that far to find a good story. And so I think the value just comes in that people are seeing the products, you know, like the eyewear that we had on the expedition. You get to see it in use.
Sure. We're
not trying to do anything out of the ordinary. We're just using, you know, the gear, and it's where we test everything, and it's where we, you know, like in those kind of environments, everything's kind of taken to its limit. So it's a good place to test things, and I think that's really valuable for marketing, just because it's authentic, it's actually happening, it's real. We're not trying to make a commercial or anything.
Right, so it gives some authenticity to the brand.
Yeah,
like, so you had your Revo shades on Maru.
Yeah.
And then you got to say, like, hey, these things are working in possibly the worst place on Earth.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the light up there is really, really harsh because you're so high and there's no atmosphere to cut, you know, a lot of the sun. And so eyewear is pretty critical.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, as critical as anything else.
Sure, so you can burn your retinas.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as much as like a down jacket or, you know, it's pretty critical equipment.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, we're just filming and trying to tell the story of what happens on these trips and capture it in a way that's engaging and keeps people interested.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what's the next challenge? Is it film? Is it a new peak?
I think we just need to, you know, we're going into picture lock on this film, and then we have, you know, a bunch of sound design and color and stuff, and then just getting it out distribution-wise.
Sure.
But I have another couple trips coming up, another story for National Geographic in Oman.
Oh, yeah.
And then straight to Antarctica after that for a ski mountaineering trip.
Great.
So.
Great to talk with you, and inspiring eyes to hear the stuff you're doing, both from the climb aspect and as well as the film.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks
definitely.
so much.
Take it easy.
Yeah. And we're going to go back again to the open air demo we're up to yesterday. And I think we got a segment next that Jimmy would enjoy, or anyone who would enjoy who wants to live the life, and it is called dirtbagging. We found out what makes dirtbags tick. Here it is.
Okay, I'm here with Dave Cornwaite. And Dave is definitely a good example of a dirtbag. He is a 1,000-mile man. He's been doing all sorts of events that are 1,000 miles or more, including taking a stand-up paddleboard down the Mississippi and skateboarding across Australia. So Dave, why don't you tell us about what you do?
Well, I have a project called Expedition 1000. The idea is to undertake 25 separate journeys of 1,000 miles or more, and each journey is using a different form of non-motorized transport.
And tell us about some of those journeys.
The first one dragged me out of a banal career in graphic design, at which I was no good at all, and it was on a skateboard. So I warmed up by skating the length of Britain, John O'Groats to Land's End, 896 miles. I made that, and then I crossed Australia from Perth to Brisbane, around the coast, not in a straight line. That would have been lazy.
And you've also taken a stand-up paddleboard down the Mississippi.
I have. The SUP down the Mississippi was actually the fourth journey. Before that I kayaked down the Murray River in Australia, 1,500 miles, and then cycled a tandem bike with a buddy of mine, 1,400 miles in 14 days from Vancouver to Vegas. And the first time either of us had ever got on a tandem was day one of the journey.
And you'd never been on a stand-up paddleboard before you went down the Mississippi?
I had, just a little bit, but I definitely wasn't a professional. But yeah, we broke a world record. It was the longest journey by stand-up paddleboard. It took 82 days. Wonderful, formative journey. Beautiful to travel by SUP.
And you're sponsored right now by Aquapack, but you're here looking for more people to sponsor the kind of things you do.
Always, yeah. I do what I do because I love it. And I'm not in it for the money, I'm in it for the experience. I think that's what life is all about. Of course, it's nice to get by, and it really helps getting great free gear, which I can then repay. I do reviews about all of the products that I'm sponsored with, and really put them through their paces. I think everything I use, it has to be durable stuff. I take it thousands of miles, so Aquapack definitely fits that bill.
And now, if someone wanted to do the kind of things you do, what would be one huge piece of advice you would give them?
Do it. There's so many excuses out there that people make, and a lot of them are just nonsense. You can always work past the time and the money and the commitments and what other people think about you doing these things. The key is just say yes more and get out there and do it. It's quite simple. If you don't do it, it ain't gonna happen.
My name's Chuck Patterson, and I work for Nash out of Hawaii. And we have a great line of stand-up paddleboards, also windsurfing equipment and kiteboards. And we're here at Lake Jordanelle today doing the open water demo. And the big question is dirtbagging, and how did I get so lucky? Well, I had a great, set of parents that were professional athletes, and kind of grew up in that realm and kind of followed what my mom did the whole time, and got into doing professional ski racing and extreme sports with snowboarding, and then followed the windsurfing tour and got into kiteboarding and competed in that, and then that all led into living in Maui and doing the big wave tour, and which parlayed right into stand-up. And now stand-up being one of the biggest, growing water sports in the world, I do live the life. So I do whatever it takes to be in the water and out of the office, and you know what? Very fortunate, stoked to be out here and share, the love of water sports for everyone out here.
Hi, I'm Charlie MacArthur out of Aspen, Colorado, and I'm a stand-up paddle designer and paddler and ambassador for C4 Waterman. I also have the Aspen Kayak and Stand-Up Paddling Academy. How did I manage to turn stand-up paddling into a career? Well, there's two things. A lot of this has to do about a dirtbag lifestyle. There's two ways to be wealthy. One is to require less or make more. Well, I do the former rather than the latter, of course. So it was pretty natural. I was a transplanted surfer from Los Angeles, moved to Colorado for the winters, stayed for the summers, but there was no waves until I discovered the rivers, and there are waves there. So I got into kayaking, and it was just a natural to get into stand-up paddling. So I started doing that in the rivers in 2004, and then I started teaching it in 2007, and here I am, requiring less still.
Hey guys, my name's Candace Appleby. I'm here at Jordanelle for the Outdoor Retailer On Air Demo Day. I'm representing Surf Tech, FCS, Ocean Minded, and a few other companies. And ever since I was a kid, my mom always told me, do what you love and the money will come. And now I live the life of a professional ocean athlete. I get to do professional surf contests, stand-up paddle races, and just go and enjoy the water all over the world. And I'm living the life and having a blast. So do what you love and the money will come. Hopefully that principle will work for all of you out there.
Move to Colorado, find a doctor, complain about unable to sleep, too much tension, and a sore back, and enjoy life.
Okay. Okay, hope you enjoyed that little piece about dirtbagging, and welcome back to the morning show. If you have a question for any of our guests, leave a comment on the Facebook page at backcountry.com where we're live streaming, or you can send us a Twitter message to hashtag morning show. Our next guest definitely qualifies as both a dirtbag and a badass, as well as a beautiful woman, and it's Melissa Arnott, and she is an athlete, a climber for Eddie Bauer First Ascent, and back in May she just set a world record. She has the most Everest summits by an American woman on her 4th summit. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that trip, your 4th time up Everest?
Yeah, it was great. It was my 4th summit and my 5th trip. Last year I attempted to summit and was unsuccessful, just kind of weather conditions, so it was nice to go back and have a beautiful day. It was actually the best day out of all of the times I've been there. The weather was really nice, and I was with friends on the summit, and it really just, everything came together perfectly.
I love that you're with friends on the summit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hanging out, having a lunch or something on top of Everest. Or...
That's kind of where I meet my friends, It's like too hard to nail each other down anywhere else in the world, so you're on the summit, you're like, hey, there's someone I know, and so that's great.
Huh. And what do you think has made you be able to do that, be able to be up on top of Everest 4 times and be successful 4 times out of 5 is an amazing rate, right?
Yeah, you know, I've been extremely lucky, really. Climbing in the high Himalaya is challenging, and it's a lot of decision making, but it's a lot of luck as well. And you know, I was fortunate enough to work as a guide there for a couple of years, and then even luckier to get to go as a sponsored athlete with Eddie Bauer First Ascent. And that's sort of just getting to climb with my coworkers, my fellow guides on the guide team, and being able to experience this beautiful place from a different perspective. So I do feel really lucky about that.
And yeah, so Eddie Bauer First Ascent is one of your sponsors, and they give you a lot of leeway when you're testing gear for them. Like, I think a lot of people who aren't in the industry might say, like, oh, these people are sponsored athletes, they're just taking money from big companies to wear their stuff and look good. But you guys actually go out there. Eddie Bauer's been really good about getting you to really test the product and really put it through the ringer out there. And tell us a bit about how that happens.
Yeah, you know, so it's a little bit atypical in terms of product development with the guide team. So Eddie Bauer came together and said, you know, we want to do this right, and instead of just having our guides and athletes go and test the gear, we want to know what to do from the first moment of inception. So we want you guys to build the gear. And so it was a bit of a backwards process where normally designers would come up with ideas based on, you know, the things we see in the market, the innovation available, and then they'd bring it to the athletes or the guides. We test it, say, change this, do that. But we kind of did it backwards, and a bunch of guides sat in a room and said, I want this, you know, this is what works, this is what doesn't, can we build that? And then the designers went and executed that with the current best technologies. And so that has allowed us to build a line that is perfectly suited to our needs, and you know, we are fully accountable for it. When I'm up on Everest and something about, you know, one of my items of gear or clothing isn't working, I'm the one that helped design that. I'm the one that said, this is how long that jacket needs to be, this is how much insulation it needs. And then we can go back to the drawing board and continue to make that better and better.
So it's kind of a pet project for you. And I think that's where people get really cynical. Like, I know there's this one product that you showed to me first, the Alchemist Pack, and that's something you really designed. And I chose that for a Gear of the Year pick for Outside Magazine. And I saw online where these people were like, that's BS, you know, that pack's not that great. And I was like, no, it is. These guys took it up there and really tested it and really, and we're part of how it happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, we sat in a room and said, what do you like about the current packs you use, but what could be better, and just dream big. And we started saying, hey, could it be possible to have a pack that gets small and is lightweight but can expand out to carry these big loads we need up high? And we started saying, no one's done that. That's not possible. Well, you know what? It is possible, and we built it, and it came out phenomenally, and I use that pack exclusively everywhere. And I don't think I'll ever be able to use like a single size pack again. It is sort of changing the way I think about gear. And I feel lucky to be with a company that empowers us to be able to say, can we do this? No one else has done it, and try and take that risk, because I think out of great risk comes great reward.
Sure. And they're empowering you to be a dirtbag, more or less.
They are. They're like, go live in the back of your truck, go, you know, don't take a shower for 60 days, live in a tent on Everest, and that makes them happy. And that's great. I mean, that's my dream, right?
Yeah. That's everyone's dream, I think. Some funny things, too. I know that recently you actually had your tonsils out, right?
I did.
So that you could go on expeditions?
Yeah, I did. I'd had kind of an ongoing long-term battle with strep throat. Every expedition I'd gone on my whole life, pretty much, I'd gotten strep throat. And so last fall I took a little time off and got my tonsils out, and it was awesome. Actually, this year on Everest, you know, it's a long trip. It takes about 65 days, and at some point every single member of our expedition was sick somehow, whether that was head cold or, you know, sore throat, kumbu cough, and I was healthy the entire time. So I feel like I'm an advertisement for like ear, nose, and throat physicians, but it really changed my experience.
Sponsor. That's a new sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I should look into that.
And you also, looks like we have a question here online too for you. Let's get to that. We have a question from Stuart Peck. He wants to know, with the Olympics going on right now, what are your thoughts about climbing potentially becoming an Olympic sport? What do you think having climbing in the Olympics would do for the outdoor industry and for climbing as a sport?
Yeah, so I actually learned something really interesting this year. There was a guide on Everest who is from London, and he works there every year. It was his 10th summit, and he carried an Olympic gold medal to the summit and left it there. So it's out there, apparently.
There's a gold medal on top of it?
Apparently there's somewhere up there, he said. But the Olympics actually award a medal for climbing every 4 years, and they just do one set of medals for kind of all of the different climbing genres and outdoor kind of sport type things. And most of those have been given to, as I understood it, like India has most of those medals right now. There's like 12 that have been awarded.
But it's not something where you compete. The IOC just decides.
Right, exactly. And so I think, you know, there's certain types of climbing, whether that's just like rock climbing, bouldering, ice climbing, those things that would be interesting in a competitive fashion, but you know, big mountain climbing, I could never see that being an Olympic sport. It's not externally competitive, and the really great climbers aren't doing it to compete with each other. They're doing it to sort of compete with themselves, and it's that inner drive.
You know, one thing I think, I have an 8-year-old daughter, and whenever the Olympics on for me, it's amazing because it's this one point where women athletes take center stage.
Fully.
And how do you feel about that in the outdoor world too, with Everest? You know, women athletes getting a chance to take center stage a little more now, do you think?
Yeah, you know, I'm continuing to see it change and evolve kind of over time. When I first started guiding, I definitely was the major minority, and I still am the minority, but, you know, I think as women continue to do really interesting things, especially in the high altitude climbing world, it's totally amazing. You have these really strong, capable female athletes that are doing the exact same things as the male athletes, and so I think you prove that, you know, those boundaries are just in our minds, and that we just need to get out there and break down those boundaries. And the Olympics are such a great showcase for that. You really get to see, you know, those borders being erased a little bit, and it can apply to other parts of our lives as well.
And inspire 8-year-old girls or 4-year-old girls.
Yeah, exactly, or 29-year-old girls, whatever.
Exactly, That's great. And the last thing is, within all this, somehow you found the time to get married too, so you're running up to Everest, you're doing all this stuff, and you're married as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. I got married 3 weeks ago, so, you know, I just thought, what better way to, you know, keep my life interesting than come directly home from Everest, have a wedding, and, you know, then go right back to work on Rainier the next day, pretty much. So, yeah, it's kind of a different adventure in my life, and probably the most significant adventure.
Great. Well, great to see you as always.
Thank you.
And glad to have you on the morning show.
Thank you.
And hope you go back for a 5th summit. Or
yeah, we'll have to see where life goes.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Doug.
See ya. Yeah. Well, that is the end of our guest today for the morning show. Want to have you back here tomorrow morning, where we're going to talk to Renan Ozturk, who's actually one of the climbers who was with Jimmy Chin up the Shark's Fin of Meru. We're going to have Gordon Seabury from Horny Toad here, talking about the things they do in the outdoor industry. And we're also going to bring you inside the halls of the Salt Palace, which is a place where consumers can't normally go. Only special athletes and media people and brands can normally go. So we're going to show you what's going on in there and show you some incredible new gear. And hope to see you soon. Meantime, let's take a look at what Brad Ludden, who is going to be on the show tomorrow, was doing yesterday up at the demo.
My name's Brad Ludden. I'm the CEO and founder of First Descents, an organization that provides free outdoor adventure therapy for young adults with cancer. We're here at the Outdoor Retailer Summer Market, Season 5 Dunk Tank, where we just dunked Kenji, the show director, which was awesome. All the benefits go to First Descents, and for more information on that, please visit our website, www.firstdescents.org. My name's Brad Ludden.
All right, thanks again for tuning into the morning show, and we will see you tomorrow. We won't dunk you in the tank, though.